Season number 2. We are here with our second game of the entire tournament, a 2-game series between Mineski and Faceless. Not only that, but a second game of a potential 7-game triple header with, of course, myself as well as Trent Pax. Thank you so much for joining us here on moonducktv. My name is Mott. As always, it's an absolute pleasure casting for all of you today. Early on in the morning, I think it's probably now closer to 5 a.m. than it is to 4 a.m. here. In fact, it is actually just turning 5 a.m. currently in the beautiful state of Colorado. Trent, let me tell you, I'm going to start with a weather factoid, which I'm sure you just don't care about.
I love weather factoids, please. I live for this.
It was 80 degrees yesterday in Colorado in the middle of February. Sorry, I had to get that out. That was important because that to me is probably one of the most absurd things that's ever happened to me. Like, I'm from upstate New York, and you as a Nova Scotian, being from, of course, Canada, a very cold country indeed, know what it's like during the winter in the Northeast. It's very cold. Pretty much always snow, below 30 degrees almost every day of the week. Well, it should be like that. I don't know how it is in Nova Scotia, but in upstate New York, that's how it is. So when you move to Colorado in the middle of February and it's 80 degrees, kind of weird. So, thought I would just get that out there. Great. I don't know, man. Dota time, I guess. Yeah, let's talk about Dota. All right.
Sorry, I was doing admin things.
You're not listening to my weather factoid? How dare you?
Well, I was trying to, but we got, there's people who are just in the unassigned slots. I kick them before the game starts. I can't have randoms. I'm an upstanding admin. If you don't label who you are, I can't have you in the game.
You are a lad.
Fair to the teams.
Yes, that's fair. As opposed to having some people in the slots that we maybe don't know. But, well, we're into game number 2, Trent. I won't say that game number 1 was very close. There was maybe a handful of times where Mineski looked like they were in an okay position going back to that fight right down to that bottom lane. And it was a pretty good fight. They used the stick on Miracle to get himself alive, and he kind of ducked and dodged as best as he could on the Weaver to get a couple of kills. All the meanwhile, Ice Ice farmed away on the Naga Siren, which Faces have decided to ban themselves and not give away. And it's the tried and true combo. Oh, yes. Excellent.
Down a game?
Let's Shadow Team Luna.
I guess, I suppose we should mention 2-game series. So I didn't put it in the score ticker because I find then people get confused. But maybe I'll do the score ticker next time. We'll actually leave a marker. It's like half and half. If you put it up, they're going to be like game 3 ? And then if you don't put it up, they just get. I probably should have put it up. I'm sorry, guys. That's on me.
Well, people ask for the score regardless if there is that. Like, people ask for the score even if there is that thing in the top of the map of the game. People sometimes just where actually is. Guys, just to clarify, it's 1-0 Faces right now. Hope everybody understands that. Into the draft and ready to go. So, yes, let's go, Magnus. Magnus Ember Spirit. Let's go.
This hero got hurt, man. He got goofed on. So they've been picking him a lot. I did notice, and I was kind of excited because I was hoping they'd pick him again. Then I saw that talent change. That is brutal. So it's still okay because he now has that 12, some percent, 15, 12% empower bonus or something talent instead. But his other talent, it was like plus 50 damage. It was disgusting. Magnus was actually so good. I was watching like a Rise clips, of course. Who else? But he'd been playing him recently, as he always is. But that new Echo Saber build where you just rush it first and you farm so fast. I mean, that hasn't changed. The hero still does do that exceptionally well. So this will probably end up being our offlane Magnus, I would assume.
I know Zyri had played a few games of Magnus and just he really had a good time. And then for some reason he stopped playing him. He played him for like 4 games, then he started losing games. And he's like, screw this. That's it. I'm done with this hero. So
it's actually so much fun, dude. Like, it's good stuff.
Oh, I love Magnus.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this goes. They have the Ember Spirit, so there's been the biggest thing, of course, of this patch is all of the talent changes. There's so many that you have to go through, so many you have to read and just see where these heroes have been put. But there's a lot of interesting changes just from talents alone, and I think I think you were talking about this in our Skype chat. That's really what this patch is about now. Just talent changes and kind of fiddling and seeing which ones are going to serve you the best in a lot of these situations.
One thing that's interesting about Ice, I'm just noticing, I'm now looking through a bunch of his games. I'm curious as to how he plays the hero. He does like some Helmet of Dominator builds on Magnus. He does some Shadow Blades. One thing he hasn't done is Echo Saber, so he's not on the whole hype train definitely the most popular thing that we've been seeing in terms of like pubs, top tier in terms of like NA and EU.
I mean, do you
I
think
know.
with that change, that damage change that to the talents, do you think it's just not as viable anymore? You
Well,
think
he
it's
was doing it. I think he was doing it during the last patch too, anyway. So
right?
I think either way doesn't matter too much for him. But off-lane competitive role, I'm sure it's just mostly about the initiation for him. His empower is gonna be very nice for an Ember Spirit that no longer goes for Battle Fury or anything like that. So now it's just extra beneficial. Even though you're more of a magic damage-based thing, it's still gonna be very handy.
I will
Pump
say
up that
this.
damage.
I will say this about Luna. As much as I'm a big Luna fan. Even after how much he's been played over the past year with Shadow Demon in tow, they have nerfed her base damage. I think it's by 6, I believe, which is going to make her laning a bit more difficult. I still think she's. I mean, when it comes to late game, 6 damage is not going to matter, but the laning is definitely interesting. Lena comes out now, which is here we used to not see that often,
That's so
but
funny.
what?
Just as Lena, it's just like they banned Mirana and they banned Leshrac. It's like, aha, well, who are you
We
gonna
got
use
you
to
now.
support to pair up for your Shadow Demon? We'll just pick Lena. Dead hero extraordinaire.
Hey, she's doing her
dead.
best.
She's a dead hero.
Okay.
Come on.
That's like
Don't kid yourself.
whenever I talk to our friend Ortiz about Zeus, and he just cries himself to sleep every time we talk about it. It's like
Raindrops. Yeah.
memes, raindrops. Ah.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can get done with the Shadow Demon Lena. The Leshrac would have been fantastic. I'm sure that if it was left, Mineski would have taken it just to help out with the early game push here too. And the most exciting thing left will be, what does Black get to play with Empower? I noticed they've been playing a lot of Wraith King. That'd be pretty cool. But for the most part, they've done like their AM Magnus. I'm sure they're fine with Juggernaut Magnus.
Yeah.
Whatever he gets, he's just gonna farm even faster, which I'm sure Black loves.
I mean, there's been a lot of AM games for Black. I mean, as there should be. That's his hero. So they want to go down that route, they certainly can. Tidehunter for Mineski. There is some team fight here, let me tell you. There is some team fight for Mineski right now. They have Static Storm to deal with, and not only that, but the RP as well. So there's team fight on both sides of the aisle, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top. But
okay, well, we had this last time up against the Mineski Faceless. Tidehunter, again, a hero we really don't see too often. He has certainly fallen off pretty hard.
Why is that though? Better heroes.
I think he's just better heroes. The reason he was so good is because there weren't that many heroes that could lane in the off lane, but now there's just so many heroes that can because of shrines. So like, why not go greedier with something other than Tide? Because Tide just like builds mech, and then his other big problem is that the meta is generally very fast right now, and so Ravage is just way too slow. Like, you win one fight with Ravage, lose 2 or 3 or anything else like that, so he's just not strong enough.
Low cooldown abilities, and Undying fits that mold pretty well.
I'm
a fan of Undying. That is a hero and a half, especially against Tidehunter. I think that they're in a pretty good position here. Disruptor Undying, there's not a whole lot of lockdown, but when you have Glimpse and RPA, I don't know if you really need it. Searing Chain on top of all of that, so
they'll definitely ban AM, I'm sure.
I would be pretty shocked if they didn't, given the recent match history of Faceless and Black.
Yeah, just so much AM lately.
So assuming Mineski still needs their mid, what do they pick up here? If like you said, Lena is the support, which I think is a pretty safe bet, but
I guess Jug's also fine. Basically the exact same hero. Jug would have been even a little bit stronger, probably. Could have worked better with timings of Disruptor and Undying, so that's fair.
Is there any way they don't pick AM here?
I think... I don't know. It's super tempting. I would definitely want to pick him. The only downside is they have a Shadow Demon, right?
And Mineski's like setting it up for them, and Mineski's like, we have a plan. Go ahead and pick it.
If they pick AM, they're going to aggro down into it. That's why the Jug would have been a lot better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Perhaps there's like some risks with AM. It just depends on how badly Black is sitting there going, come on, just give me the AM.
Oh, you know that's what he's saying right now, of course. Like, someone's like listen to Black play when they played with Vici back in the Summit. Like, he's like, listen, AM's great here. And I said to tell him half the time, no, it's not. We're not picking this hero for you. Now, that's not exactly how I went, but
the Faceless Void is still really good. Maybe that's what they'll do. It's also very strong with the Empower.
I like
a
that
good
a lot.
counter. Oh, actually, yeah, I really like the Faceless Void. I think that's stronger than an AM.
Good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Faceless Void for sure. They have 18 seconds left in the reserve time, and Mineski, of course, they have 1 pick left as well. We'll see what they grab, but for now, it is going to be Black's hero almost assuredly.
10 seconds remaining.
And they're thinking about it. They really are thinking about it. Nope, it's Lundgren.
So, he doesn't get the best benefits compared to melee heroes from the Empower, but You know, it's not like you have it on 24/7 anyway. This helps dissuade any sort of like aggro lanes too, because Lone Druid is just annoying to deal with.
Oh
Life
boy.
should be pretty good. Very difficult for them to jump over and get a hold of. Our Weaver's still in the pool, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any weird mid shenanigans. So Weaver just kind of looked at as one of those better heroes against Lone Druid, but Luna position 1, tied off lane. Very much likely that our Lina will be 4, and we have our mid hero still left to go.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. What are they going to pick? Question.
I actually think Wind Ranger is kind of okay, but I'm not sure if Mineski are comfortable with her. She's one of those heroes that you just have to play well, or if you don't get double shackles off, you kind of lose.
Yeah, I like that hero now, but definitely some things they go for the OD instead, which was banned last game. I believe it was by, I think it was by Faceless. Was banned last ban by Faceless as they were on the Radiant side. Yeah, pretty sure. So they get it this time though for Mineski. The matchup
very strong 5-man.
Yeah, matchup is theoretically OD versus Ember Spirit here, the mid lane.
Yeah, unless they mix it up, they could send the Lone Druid mid. Was one of those heroes that everyone used to use up against the OD, but then you run into aggro trialing coming from Mineski, and then that puts Ember in a bad spot. So
do you favor
they'll probably just take the shitty list?
So do you favor the Mineski draft even with some of these heroes like the Lina and the Tidehunter, or is this again? I'm a big fan of the Magnus. The Lone Druid is. I really like Magnus, Disruptor, and Undying for Faceless. With Lone Druid and Ember Spirit aside, I think that's just a good 3 heroes to have on your squad, but for a lot of teamfight potential. But really, who do you favor?
Potential is just disgusting between Magnus and Disruptor. Like any 2 or 3 man RP. And they picked the Tidehunter into Disruptor, who is one of the only heroes that can actually stop you from getting off Ravage through Kraken Shell. And I'm sure I'm sure like this lineup could work for Mineski, but I would be favoring the Faceless one.
It's a really nice way of saying, yeah, I don't like your lineup.
Yeah, I don't know. It's super risky. And like their whole draft just relies on getting to this crazy 5-man death ball and getting some good Essence Aura procs and just rolling. Yeah, they want to play that like threatening Enigma style where you like don't throw Black Hole for 25 minutes and still win. That's basically what their Ravage goals are right now.
How much pressure do you think they put on the Luna on this top lane with this Magnus early on, or do you just leave the Magnus here and you let the supports help out the bottom lane? It looks like they're just gonna. It looks like right now R is gonna solo bottom, so I don't know if they really need that much help in this bottom lane. They have XY already here though on the Undying, so.
Yeah, they're gonna try to figure out what they're gonna do. So like right now, if you look on the Dire side, they saw the Disruptor because he went for the D wards, so they'll know that the supports are currently top.
Right.
They're probably trying to dodge the Luna lane with the Ember. It looks like.
I think that is pretty accurate. Right now, just setting up to get the no Ninja Boogie Bounty Rune shenanigans this game. Excellent. The classic auto or alt.
Yes, that is definitely a classic.
Classic, especially. I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone.
So what's the plan here with Black? Are we actually gonna do the mid versus Ember? All right, guys, come on now.
Oh yeah, it's happening. I think Ethel's just being. He's just memeing. Yeah, I think he's just memeing. So Black will be going mid on the Lone Druid. His bear is currently behind.
They're basically sacking Ember Spirit instead of Lone Druid. That's their choice. So like they're saying like, okay, we could have like a bad Ember Spirit lane. Like Ember Spirit would have an awful time against OD, but our Lone Druid would have a worse or like a pretty easy time. So like let's do that. But now Ember just does not get the experience that you want. Okay, they're gonna send him bottom.
So they're switching things up pretty quickly. Ice has a TP. They're gonna try to go for this. I don't know. He has Anchor Smash. Decay comes out from XY. I don't know what they're gonna do here. Currently, they're keeping Nuts top lane. The TP is coming in from Ice, and he's just gonna jungle with the Iron Talon or the Coin Blade. No Iron Talon yet, but he is the Coin Blade. All right, man.
Yeah. So mid's probably gonna be pretty boring. Should be kind of okay for Black. Especially once he gets up to Savage. Oh, yeah, he just takes it level 2. Just like, screw it. I don't want to run any sort of trouble. I don't want to worry about any rotations. The fact with the OD coming that last pick, too, the next fantastic thing about it is that you have that, like, third setup situation happening where now you have Disruption and Astro plus whatever. Did he actually get that steal?
Yeah, he got one of the small mud golems. Shard golems.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Did some damage to Ice in the process as well. And Power skill up first, Coiling Blade to help him CS. The top lane sort of getting sacked now. I'm sure he'll go soak the experience as the wave pushes in. They're setting up for a potential gank mid. Don't see any vision here. I think Nuts is just getting a ward down. I'm not sure if he actually wants to go for anything.
I mean, someone was getting screwed over in this laning stage from Faceless. And it's going to be Ice as we saw when that TD went down bottom. So Jabs is great. This is very, very nice.
I can just imagine them like on their voice comms just arguing about like, okay, well,
yeah,
who do
like
we...
who's like, no, you had to say, like, you were totally free last game of that Naga. Like, it's my turn. I want to actually play my hero. Like
Black
gets
the farm. They're going to go for a potential gank here on Bimbo. There's going to be the kinetic field first. They drop the decay as well. He's going to get the Savage Roar, and maybe they can bring him down, but they just don't have enough damage at this point in time. There's just not enough. No roots coming out for Black yet, and that's only a kinetic field, no Thunderstrike, and it was only 1 point of decay. So that was interesting.
Ambitious.
Yeah, definitely ambitious for sure, but doesn't work out for them in the long run, unfortunately.
And I bet RR is just having a time down here, too. This would be a really fun lane as a Tide Hunter. Just, like, bully the... Like, whenever you don't see the supports, like, maybe you're a little concerned, but when they're mid like that, you can just bully the shit out of this Ember.
Go ahead, walk up. Walk up, Ember. You have no HP.
Problem is, supports are here now.
Yeah, supports are here. They're going to get the decay. They get off the Searing Chains. That's first blood. Maybe Fairy Fire. And he tried to salve. So he actually wastes the salve in the end, and Jabs gets first blood. And just like that, they kind of turn things around for Jabs in this bottom lane with the supports coming to help him out. So, yeah, he was going to good farm. It's a great time, man, until the supports
it's
show
fun
up.
when there's no supports. The second supports come, then this guy just turns on his Flame Guard, and you can't break it because you're only level 3 and you don't have Gush. And now it sucks. Now the lane's awful. He's got the 200 Magic Absorb now, so the Gush won't even do anything. Right. And now you only have physical damage, so you can't break Flame Guard, and now your life is over.
Yeah,
Times were great for RR for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a handful, a little bit of time, but that's about it. So, handful of CS, and now he has to back up. He does have a Quelling Blade, so we'll see him get some CS in the jungle. Potentially, much like what Ice is doing currently with 12 last hits, most of which are jungle creeps. I'm sure he has the Iron Talon now picked up, and he's heading to the top lane.
Look at all this farm on the 2 supports, Ninja Boogie and Jules. I think that's a triple camp they're going for here now.
Wow, yeah, that is something else. That's great for them. That should put them up. I mean, Jules is level 3. Ninja Boogie's he is level 3 with that bounty rune now. There is a rotation coming in mid. They're wrapping around with the smoke from XY as well as Nuts. We'll see if they can get the kill this time. Decay. They need the kinetic field or a glimpse, and it's just he does actually get a little greedy, I think, and he gets glimpse back. The kinetic field is there. They use the soul rep. Should they have the damage for this? Absolutely. He uses the Astral on himself for the time being. They have decay, which will probably bring him down. And he'll use it. Not only that, but he gets the double decay off onto Jules.
Maybe a root?
Disruption. Nuts is pretty low, but should stay alive. No, not enough. And Jules will actually get that return kill, but they still lose their Outworld Devour in that mid lane with a nice gank set up by Faceless. A little bit less ambitious this time. Or more, yeah.
Good stuff by them.
Right, I hear a shrine somewhere. Yep. XY shrining it up. Solo shrine.
Damn, greed. Okay, though. Come down bottom. And look at poor RR, man. Just nothing to do against this Flame Guard. Now level 3.
Did get the Anchor Smash off. Now the Searing Chains comes. The Flame Guard is level 3. Thunderstrike, they should have Glimpse. Nope, up in 6 seconds. Regardless, he's still dead, I think, anyway. Decay, they're trying to throw it out there. That kills him. XY will get the blast hit for that. He's getting close to Arcanes if he wants them. Despite this draft, I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about the Luna, who definitely has the highest net worth, but you still have a lot of kills going on. Faceless' supports are making a lot of room for all these heroes.
Yeah, they need a kill on Ninja Boogie and Jules.
And, they might get one here. Bimbo's sort of trying to set this up. Black has yet to be aware of this presence. Although, I don't know if they saw Jules with the ward. I think probably not. I think he was smoked up to get over there, so they don't see him. So Black might just be saying, okay, the supports are missing. They could be in the jungle, but I'm just going to play it safe now. And he's going to back up and head to the jungle.
Yeah, they've just been gone for too long. Yeah, stole the rune, though.
Yes, got him.
Slow down.
Ice is like, oh, there's no rune here. And you know what that means. And they get some really good wards done, too. You look at this ward. It's a pretty aggressive ward this early on in the game. They have this ward at the Uber Cliff. Not only that, but they have the ward over here. And at the entrance to the jungle and the ancient stack. Now they're looking for Ice. Ninja Boogie setting up with the high ground here. There's the Dragon Slave. He has Skewer. I think he's getting ready to use it. Disruption first. LSA, yeah, that might be the... No, Ninja Boogie doesn't go for it. They pause the game. I think Jules is like, okay, he DC'd. That is... I don't know if they would have gotten the kill with the LSA. I don't think they had the damage. I'm not sure, but that's still rough.
Soul Catcher, yeah, maybe. But, yeah, that's pretty rough.
I mean, you want the chance of the kill. DC in the middle of an attempt like that is always rough. It's got to be frustrating. Not only that, that's just kind of the morale killer, I suppose.
Well, I do like the pressure they're putting on Ice. I think if there's any hero in this game that they want to be pressuring and need to be, it should be him. As long as they can slow down his Blink Dagger, then them rushing into towers. Like, you look at Lone Druid and Ember, and you're like, oh, but they need to kill them. Like, they're going to get out of control. I don't think it matters nearly as much. Because if there's no Blink Dagger on Ice, then they're going to be able to approach towers with this farmed Luna and this OD and be in their Death Ball, and they won't have any initiation. Like, Ember and Lone Druid are fantastic when they're sitting on the outskirts of a fight, jumping in and out with Sleight of Fist and Remnants, and just pounding away as the Lone Druid. But if you don't have the RP to initiate and then be that kind of like frontline guy that you have to deal with in that moment, then they're not going to be given that opportunity, and they won't have any way to grab onto Miracle. So
he double shrine TP into potential gang. By the way, he's building into Helm of the Dominator, which is something. TP's top there. We're thinking about diving him. And TP canceled. Now bottom lane. Ooh, TP I think came out from RR to make it away back home quickly. He has his Arcanes now and Fusion Ram drop as well to keep himself alive. So you look at like Jules and Ninja Boogie are just trying to find anything. They're putting a lot of pressure on Ice. He's not getting that much farm, but they aren't killing him. In fact, there's only one kill in the game for Mineski right now. And that's it. So that came on, I believe, the Disruptor and then mid lane gank that happened earlier.
Should be able to hold on to this tower relatively well. Jabs going mid.
Glimpse Kinetic Field coming out. They TP in Jabs as well. The root gets unfortunately hit up onto Bimbo, but a good LSA stops any further aggression, and so Ninja Boogie rotates in and saves the life of his Outworld Devourer, who is currently beating the Lone Druid CS by 1, so it's very even in this mid lane, but he has died once or twice. Get a shrine up now, too. These shrines, like already, I think 4 shrines have been used in the early game. 2 were used by Ice going back home and using both of the shrines in the base, but shrine usage, clearly pretty important part of this meta.
Yeah, those are some costly rotations from Faceless, too. Just not getting anything on the Ember, he just leaves the lane. Faceless Warrior, or the Lone Druid, not getting anything here either. I mean, his last hits are still fine for sure, and his net worth is okay, but not being able to bring down the OD once more.
Oh,
very nice for Mineski.
Ninja Boogie steals one of the creeps of the Dragon Slave, which is always nice. They're pushing top lane, the Luna Shadow Demon becoming a thing. Helm of the Dominator picked up for Miracle. He has the Centaur Conqueror for his stomp if he wants it. Trying to auto attack and do some damage to Ice. XY is rotated up. Just scouting out too. It's pretty useful to have. And now going to disrupt, and here we go. Already 8 minutes into the game, and the illusion spam is happening.
Only level 1 disruption. All you need.
Yeah, it's really... I mean, this tower's gone. Ninja Boogie gets the last hit. Miracle tried timing and unfortunately wasn't able to successfully get that last auto attack on the tower, which does give at least Arcanes up to the Lina level 4, so not that close to Laguna Blade. On top of that, Shadow Demon Jules, he's very close to... He's about halfway through 5. He should get his level 6 pretty soon here. I think this is... Mineski get the first tower. The Luna's in a pretty good position. I'm kind of like... I feel like this is the calm before the storm. There's a lot of teamfight abilities in this game. We haven't seen any of them yet because it's very early on in the game. But I feel like there's going to be a period of time where something happens. Whether it's Ravage, whether it's an RP, whether it's just a rotation from some supports. I feel like something is going to happen in the near future.
Yeah, they just want to do the exact same thing again as Mineski. They just want to do the exact same situation bottom. So they'll do a full farming curve where like Luna was top. So let's make her whole way down bottom. And in that time period, your support's trying to get as many items as possible. You want R to still have Ravage, and we're going to try and pressure down that tower. And maybe it's a little bit ahead of schedule as Raging Potato's already there. But there's a TP on Luna if they need it.
Glimpse, Kinetic Field. Can they get this kill? Ninja Boogie's pretty squishy. LSA goes. They get the Savage Roar off. Ninja Boogie done. Nuts now.
Nice save.
He might be in trouble. Lucid Beam, Miracle coming in. Arcane Orb's doing some serious damage, but he gets up to the high ground. They need another Lucid Beam to get this kill. Shadow Poison. They don't quite have the vision. Kinetic Field comes out as well. He'll try to TP. He should make it away. They don't have Sanities to get that kill for Bimbo. And now RR rotates a bit too late. They might be able to still get this kill or get this tower down with the like you mentioned, the Ravage being up. Glyph going, but they won't lose any heroes on Faceless' side. Not yet, anyways. They will tip in another. It's going to be XY. He has level 1 Tombstone. He's got his Flesh Golem ready to go as well if they want it. Meanwhile, Steel Split pushing top his jabs. They might just let this tier 1 tower in the mid lane go. It looks like they will. They're not going to defend it, and Aura will get the last auto attack. They want that Purge Creep. Get it. Yes, Satyr Banisher. Give me
so much money, dude.
125 gold for that Lone Druid. Hell yeah.
The nerf. Okay, perfect. So that's even better than bottom tower. Much rather have the mid in this situation. They just saw a better opportunity there with the rotations that come in. The fact they'd driven people off, sent them all back to base. So good audible call there from Mineski, or just good game plan in general. Jabs did rotate at a bottom, made his way up into the top lane after he'd fully pressed into the bottom tower.
I think he has his full veil in the courier flying out now, I believe. Yeah.
So going very well for him. He's basically neck and neck with the Luna. He's about 200 gold down.
Yeah, the mids and the core, the mids and the safe laners are both doing rather well for themselves in terms of the net worth. There's not that much difference in between them. And if you look at the net worth graph, Mineski is ahead by about 1,500. Some of that does come from the tower they just got, but also their supports are pretty well off as well. Experience-wise, Faceless is up, but not by much. It's pretty much even in that regard. So still very early on in the game, trying 11 minutes in. We saw that push happen. Ravage was not expended, so they can continue to be that aggressive if they want to. If they want to go for another tier 1 tower, the last tier 1 tower, of course, being bottom for Mineski. Or they could just continue to farm for a little bit. But they have rotated RR as well as Bimbo down bottom for now.
Yeah, I think you just want to keep on going.
Yeah.
Get yourself an Alpha Wolf. Got double helms going on. You have 2 Alpha Wolves. A little redundant, but currently they're not next to each other, so it's okay.
It's fine.
Yep, that's A-okay. And Arcane Boots still not even up here for Ice's Ice, so he can't even spam that well down bottom. He only has like 2, well, I guess he's got 3 shockwaves now left.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you decide to really go hard and defend some of these towers for Faceless? Do you wait for some sort of initiation tool? Do you wait for a couple more levels for Ice?
I don't even think you do. I think you just try and rat as much as possible with your Ember, because they're just getting so much gold on him that it is still nice for them. But
right.
The real question is, when do you want to defend as Mineski? Like right now, what's your reaction? You see an Ember and a Lone Druid here. Do you want to drive these guys off, or are you happy with a trade?
Well, it looks like it's more of the latter for now. Everybody's rotating down bottom. They take the tower top lane. They're going to keep going with Black and jabs up at the top lane.
This is the right move. Send Ice mid so that he can pressure in here, and then he's going to force rotations to this tower, while they're also still pressuring up in the top lane and try and force rotations here too. I mean, because they have to move as a unit right now from Mineski.
It's exactly what you're talking about. It is a bit of that rat. It's just a bit of that split push coming out for Faceless. And a Glyph is forced. I guess Mineski are just going to continue to... They're finally making the call to back up and head towards that tower, but they know this is happening. Glimpse isn't back, and now he's back bottom, so they have to commit to a push. But that it means XY is kind of left out to dry here. So they're going to lose not only this tier 1 tower, they might lose this tier 2 tower top lane. They are losing a lot of gold on Mineski's side because of these trades. That was a great glimpse. They pretty much predicted exactly what you were talking about, Trent, with that glimpse.
Yeah, this is tough though. Now what do you do? Your Tide Hunter has no TP. He has nothing left.
Well, you can't. You're not. I don't think you could go high ground. I mean, like, it's great that they get the tier 2, but like, maybe they should have just TP'd everybody else, because, I mean, XY isn't there. They would still be fighting 4v4, and they have Ravage. I mean, well, he
was all this ward, because he tried to TP the tier 2.
Yeah. That glimpse was huge. They don't want to give up that second tier 2 tower. Laguna Blade the Bear, it shall fall, but I don't think he got the last hit for it. I think the tower actually brought it down, which is not great.
I think so as well. All right, they just got outmaneuvered on Mineski.
How much gold did that just lose them? Surprisingly, not that much. I think the graph still has to update, but it's... Oh, they might lose a hero here. If they lose Miracle Top, RP comes out. There's the Static Storm. They get off the Entangle as well. The Savage Roar goes. They didn't even really need it. That's just a dead Luna. That is big. Not only that, but they might lose this tower still as well. The Tide Hunter is still walking there. They're going to send... Bimbo's going in. He wants Black, and he might be able to get him. Sanity's Eclipse. No. Oh, no. That's...
Man, he had 28 in, too. He was so dead.
I can't believe that happened.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone miss a soul. That's just rough, dude.
And that wasn't even that close of a miss. Like, he was a little bit... He was way further than that, I'm pretty sure, but...
Just chucked it out there.
Yeah, he's just like, well, maybe I'll get it. It's more on the Bear than it was on the Lone Druid himself. Anyways, that's crazy. It is... They almost had a 3,000 net worth advantage. It is now back to even and somewhat in Faceless' advantage, but not by much. So all of that early game advantage they accrued with them 5-manning and trying to take 10 towers is pretty much gone. Jabs will get LSA'd here. Laguna Blade is up. They're not going to use it. He does have the flank guard, and he'll be able to get back without any real issues. XY will TP, and looks like Jabs will do the same.
The reason it's so painful is because, like, it's not just the fact of, like, the gold and all that, but you had such an advantage in your 5-man formation, and just, you're so much stronger than Faceless. You know they can't do shit about it, but they get almost a little bit too greedy in, like, taking this tower, and they're like, okay, well, we're just going to trade 1 for 1. It's fine. And then, you know, you start moving to the second one, you're like, okay, well, this is getting a little bit risky in that one glimpse, but just like you were so much stronger, and now you've lost all of that advantage that you had, and now you allowed a team that has an Ember Spirit and a Lone Druid, and that was behind and was struggling to get farm on this Magnus to just get so much gold.
They're going to get tier 2 tower for free, which, I mean, I guess you have to just give up if you're Mineski. Yabs is not even concerned about getting this last 10 on the tower. He's just like, let me get this creep wave first. They have yet to use Ravage for RR. He just got his back. They clearly want a 5-man and stay together. It's not really happening. Ice is cutting the creep wave mid. So the game plan for Mineski is simply falling apart. They, however, have found XY. Laguna Blade, Tombstone's dropped down, but he will get dropped by the Purge. Now they're going to make some illusions. Maybe this is their best chance, but Blink Dagger is up and ready for Ice. He needs to get there. And Bo taking a lot of damage. Thunderstrike, Jabs. Put under, glimpse back in. They'll catch him under the tower. Bimbo, however, no damage being taken. You can see RR just going on nuts. They don't want to use the Ravage just for him. They can't get the tier 2 tower because, again, the creep wave. And the Stormcrafter, the Harpy Stormcrafter mid is just pulling the creep. They are just being nuisances. Faceless are just doing everything in their power to stop this from happening. Now they want to fight. They get the glimpse. Static Storm. They skewer him out of it. The Ravage hits on a 3. Not the play from Ice, but they're still okay. Ravage now down. Jabs comes in. He's got the Flame Guard up. There's the Sleight of Fist. Searing Chains going. They want this kill. RR decayed up. Soul Rip. He's still alive for now. Mech is down. Now jumping at RP. Onto 3. Shockwave coming up, but where's the follow-up damage? There it is. The triple remnant. Jabs going in. The Searing Chains double kill. And they get the black double kill as well. 5 dead. That RP turnaround from Ice is there. And that was the culmination of what was a maybe 10-minute long scenario for Mineski that was not going their way in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Heavily out-strategized this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between the creep cutting and the tower trades, only 2 kills in what felt like was a game that they were at least, they had what their lineup needed, and they had the keys that could have been there to succeed, but they have just played so well from the side of Faceless.
Yeah.
A very, very nice game coming out from them. And the fact they're able to hold out so long for this Magnus to go into that early Helm, and then into the Arcanes, and then all the way into the Blink Dagger from a lane that barely had anything inside of it. It's just ridiculous. His own creep cutting through the mid, the grab on the courier to add even enough gold to get to that Blink Dagger, and then as he said, the Harpy Stormcrafter that he left behind too to stop the waves from coming in and somehow still save that mid tier 2 despite Undying going down. Whew.
Yeah. I mean, the game is not, I don't think it's anywhere close to over. They still have a lot of towers to take, but it just feels worse and worse. The Luna's starting to get a little bit behind that of Black and Jabs as he should after a fight like that. There's a lot you have to do for Mineski still, and it's hard as it is, the way that the game has gone. I mean, Ravage was used there. It's still down for another 48 seconds. Meanwhile, all of the spells from Faceless are back up in about 18 with reverse polarity, so I don't know. Where do you go from here? For both teams, really. I mean, do you just sit back and farm, or are you okay as Faceless with just continue to accrue a net worth advantage and then push when you're ready?
I think they'd probably just want to smoke up and use RP now that it's available. Maybe just get some power plays going, possibly TP Ice down bottom and go from there. If you could fight again before Ravage, that would be ideal. Might be a little bit too late now at this moment.
I think it's too late.
So, yeah. So they'll just rat then. Like, how are they? Can they kill Ice? Maybe if they Ravage.
They would have to. Yeah, Ravage is still down, so he's fine. It was up in about 8 seconds. They have a pipe now and Undying, which means this is even worse. There's a lot of magical damage on this Mineski team, so especially before this Luna gets really that big. So this is a perfect item for him. They have mech. I don't. Not on Faceless' side, no. Yeah, they're getting to that point though. That ranged Lone Druid is starting to get some items. Atos finished up for the Outworld Devourer, make him a bit tankier, and hopefully he can survive some of these engagements. But yeah, for now it's back to farming for Faceless, and there's been, by the way, only 2 kills this entire game for Mineski, which is it's not been that many for Faceless, but it's still a morale killer.
Yeah, it really is. That's difficult Dota right there. Oh, there's a Hurricane Pike. Black gonna be even harder to lock down. Not that he'd be able to manage it yet. This game 2-0-6.
He's having a great time. Top of net worth. Ice has made some serious room in this game, whether it's by creep cutting, split pushing. He has done everything he needs to do to win this game. Not only that, his BKB is going to be completed not that far off. He's got the Ogre Club. He's got almost enough money for either the Recipe or the Mithril Hammer. So they're in a very good position right now for them. And you kind of have to wonder, like, can Mineski even get off that one big team fight, that one big Ravage? And even if they do, is there enough damage in there to actually win them a team fight?
Yeah, they're going to have to really sync things up there. The most difficult thing for them will just ever be getting 5v5 action. Like, why would Faceless ever take a 5v5
There's
fight?
no reason for them to.
It's just their split push is too strong right now. Ice is solo punching his tower top, and any response he brings just guarantees more space for jabs as well as black.
He's like, I don't need the 50 damage, guys. I've got 12 strength. We're fine. Lucent Beam coming out. He can secure himself away if he needs to. However, the disruption is there. They've TP'd a Ninja Boogie, the LSA. It looks like they might get this. Black will get the edge in the meanwhile, so it's one of those at what cost type of things where you lose half your health in the tier 3 tower. You lose Aegis. Yes, you get the kill on Ice, but can you actually get anything out of it? And the answer to the question is probably not.
Doesn't even matter for them. Like, who cares? It's a good grab from Mineski for sure. I'm sure they're at least somewhat happy, but Ember's just like killing creep waves down bottom to get these. Now this would be huge.
They Atos him. He does remnant out. He's got blink in 1. He should still be fine. Yeah, he blinks out. And they just picked up a blink dagger 2 for RR. So now they have more potential initiation here. Well, they need that desperately. I want to point out, before they killed the Magnus, they have only killed the Disruptor and Undying in this game. Those were the only 2 kills they had.
Yeah, so first core to go down.
And you have Maelstrom very close to completion for the Ember Spirit. Like we talked about, the BKB for Ice is coming out. Nuts is playing the hard 5 at this point, which, I mean, he's still getting plenty for the role that he's played. And they're sitting together now, but again, I don't think they play as 5. They're kind of just backing up. Their jungle has been invaded, though. Mineski's doing a good job posting up here and making sure they don't let anybody farm freely in their own jungle. But while this is all happening, Japs is just pushing top.
Glimpse back. Astral, but it'll still end up there. But at least it delays the kinetic fields, all that really matters.
All right.
So, yeah, one thing to note, I suppose, with the whole cripple, right, with Rod of Atos, the root now does work on Ember Spirit, so he can't remnant out of it.
Yeah. That was
a new patch. Maybe that'll be enough.
Yeah, that was a big change, the new patch a while ago, so it's just a lot of his abilities being annoying.
That was a much bigger nerf than the spell amplification one, because he only lost 3%, but the fact that you can now root him is pretty scary.
Atos on the bear. And they get the Searing Chase, the root, the skewer back, and I think that is they didn't even need to commit the Static Storm. He was dead before that even dropped.
I think they were worried about a Blink Ravage play.
Yeah, fair enough.
They covered a pretty sick grab. He had a blinked in, actually.
But now he's dead for 36 seconds. It's another tower gone. In fact, it's the last outer tower picked up by Faceless. Mineski now will... Well, we'll see what they can do. They have a remnant bottom, I believe, for the Ember Spirit somewhere. Nope,
oh, it's a good BKB, though. Maybe this will be enough. Could catch them off guard here on the Radiant side.
See how this goes.
Of course, they still have Aegis on black.
I mean, they've already lost. The tier 3 tower is dead. It just fell instantly. And this building is not far behind. Black is going in the range to auto attacks the glimpse back while he was used up. They won't be able to find that kill. Tombstone kind of covering the retreat. They'll probably just auto attack it now with the illusions. They can't really do so. They commit to this. Do they really want to finish up the melee racks? I don't think they're ready to push that hard just yet. And the Aegis was gone. Excuse me, the Aegis is still for another 2 minutes, so they're fine. They'll get the shrines in the meanwhile with the tier 3s down.
Who is it more satisfying to see lose? SD Luna or Ember Spirit Lone Druid? I can't really decide right now.
SD Luna has been around longer, so I think SD Luna. Like Ember Spirit and Ember Spirit and ranged Lone Druid are still kind of a novelty type thing. I mean, they have been in for a while, but I still think it's...
I think I can agree with you. It's close. You know, there's not many other combinations I would hate more than...
I mean,
Ember Spirit Lone Druid,
just
but this might be it.
Just think about how many times we've seen SD Luna, regardless of win or lose. Like, just think of how often that... Not that that's a bad thing. Like, pick whatever's going to win you the game, in all honesty. But I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, bots are online for Jabs, so his life is fantastic right
Blink
now. He's
Ravage,
doing
they
his thing.
caught 3. Can they get anything set out of these Eclipse? Blacks does that Aegis. They haven't killed him yet. They finally drop him down. BKB was used by the Magnus. They can reinitiate. They have the Blink Dagger up and ready to go. They're all spread out pretty well for Mineski. Now the Skewer back in a little bit of lag. They miss it now. Static Storm drop down. Savage Roar. They jump in. Searing Chains. Remnant. Now Miracle pops the BKB. So far, a 1-for-1 exchange, and that might be all that it is. RP is still up ready to go for Ice. His Blink is up and ready. They do TP out, at least Jules, Ninja Boogie getting himself away as well, but Miracle maybe not. BKB is now down. He's not no TP for 3 seconds, and he is done. That's the biggest kill there. It was a 1-for-1 and up until that point, a very even fight, but the fact that he didn't have a TP to get out actually cost him.
RR caught me off guard with that one. I didn't know he was going to go on that.
Yeah, he,
so, like,
he
watching
went in.
Jabs, I was like, yeah, he split pushed in there. Their pressure tower with the DD Luna.
It was a 3-man Ravage. It was pretty good. They blew up. If Black didn't have an Aegis, that fight probably goes drastically different, but
yeah,
he's alive, so.
And they were close. It would just be expiring now, too. So maybe a bit over-aggressive here from the Dire side.
Yeah.
Just going to make use of that Luna BKB.
It almost went well, but in the end, they only lose. Who did they lose in that fight for Faceless?
Disruptor.
But really not much of anything.
No.
Mech now done for XY, so more sustain. And Mineski out of the base.
Pipe is so good this game.
Do they? Yeah, they see that. They didn't see that ward. They didn't see that ward getting dropped down. Comes back. RR caught. Static Storm down for 13. Here comes the bear, and RR is 100% dead. Mech will come out, but he's not staying alive for much longer. Meanwhile, Remnant in towards that bottom lane from Jabs, looking for potential pickoff. BKB from Ice looking for the RP. And I don't know if he's going to use it. He's waiting for the Astral first and foremost. I don't think he needs it. Now, Skewer coming back in doesn't hit anybody. It was very close. LSA coming out, trying to cover out Bimbo. There's the RP. They really want the kill. Now, Static Storm. They've caught the Luna. Has to BKB now and back away. Still taking a lot of damage, especially from those auto attacks from the Lone Druid. Might fall. They get off the Glimmer Cape. He's still alive for now, but they will lose Jules in the end. And that looks to be a full set of racks and perhaps the game as well. There's a lot of damage on these buildings, and I'm not sure they can really do anything, especially with that BKB.
So fast.
Yeah, I mean, they died pretty much instantly. The BKB from Luna's down. She doesn't have Eclipse. Ravage is back up at 10, and maybe that's the only thing they can do. They'll probably wait for that, and if that doesn't go well, they probably GG out here, I think.
Yeah, Ice is actually even queuing up his standard build that from the games I've seen with this Refresher, which is pretty cool. Just none of this Echo Saber shenanigans. He just loves the double RP plus the BKB.
He's an old school player, man. The tried and true, whatever works. But in the end, that is it. If Faceless does 2-0 Mineski, and they look to continue their dominance that they've had over the SCA Dota the past couple of days, the SCA region, and they look just as. I mean, that was an impressive. The first 20 minutes of this game was an impressive display of just outmaneuvering that of Mineski and their 5-man. I mean, the situation where they took the tower top, the tower mid, the tier 2 tower top, the tier 2 tower mid, and canceled that TP from the Tidehunter was some of the most impressive maneuvering I've seen from a team in a long time.
Yeah, that's just like game-deciding movement right there.
Yep.
Completely neutered the Mineski Dota strat, killed it. That was it. It's very difficult for them to come back from there. And despite having what looked like decent control over the lanes in the game, only ever to get 4 kills, and they so had that snowball going, but it melted. Ember Spirit, he did it. Strong, man.
Yeah, it was a good draft from both squads, but Faceless just outperforming that of Mineski. And so our first series of the day, our first series of Mr. Cat Season 2 is in the books, Trent. It is going to be Faceless 2-0, but they're not done yet. It's Faceless versus MVP coming up next. I believe Andrew told me we had to change to the schedule, but I'll talk to you about this